Welcome, ladies. Tonight, we have a special workshop that coincides with this month's theme, EFT tapping, our workbooks that you all have, the EFT tapping workbook, what we worked on the last clarity call. And for this, as you know, I have brought in an expert certified EFT practitioner to teach us all. And she's kind of a big deal. And we are so fortunate to have her here with us this evening to share some of her wisdom and have us work on those trigger foods that we were all sharing a moment ago. So if you don't have your trigger food, grab it now, have it ready for this evening. You're going to want that. I want to extend a warm welcome and introduce you now to our guest trainer for this evening, Marcella Friel. Welcome, Marcella. Yay, there she is in a beautiful blue vest. Now, Marcella is the author of the book Tap, Taste, and Heal, Use Emotional, Freedom Techniques, EFT, to eat joyfully and to love your body. Boy, that sounds like my course, the stuff that we're talking about. You got to love your body there. And to love food. So now Marcella has trained nearly 50,000 students with her online courses like Lose Emotional and Physical Weight with Tapping, and 21 tapping meditations for emotional eating and beyond, both of which are top 40 bestsellers on the DailyOM. Now that, if you don't know, is a big deal because they sell a lot of courses, but you got to really be up there and have an awesome course to sell that many. She's blown me away. My 11,000, she's at 50,000. So kudos as a businesswoman also, Marcella. That's fantastic. Yes. Now in 2018, she founded the Woman, Food, and Forgiveness Academy. I love that name. It's an online transformational mentorship program to help women just like you ladies cultivate unconditional self-love as the path to health, supportive food choices, and long-term sustainable body weight balance. That's what we're all achieving here and going towards. Now, tonight, Marcella is going to be sharing with us a workshop that she teaches called Overcoming Temptation, Relapse, and Withdrawal using EFT. So you all could stand to learn from this. And in this session, she's going to teach us the powerful tool of tapping to help you tap into the secret healing power of these seemingly pitfalls and leverage them now into powerful allies that can then catapult your healing journey forward. So without further ado, I am going to pass the mic over to Marcella and let her do her thing. So again, welcome, Marcella. So great to have you here this evening with us. And thank you so much for taking the time out to join us. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Joyce. Hi, everybody. Hello. I've got us in gallery mode. It's really nice to just see everybody. Wow, thank you so much for that introduction, Joyce. And thank you for all the good work that you're doing with helping women kick sugar. You know, it's a big deal. Sugar addiction is no joke. It can have pretty devastating consequences in our lives, you know. And when Joyce invited me to come speak here, I thought this is such a great opportunity. And the thing that I really was attracted to on Joyce's website was, you know, the whole idea that your relationship with sugar, the piece that's about the sugar is about this big. And then there's a whole huge psychological, emotional, you know, even spiritual kind of iceberg underneath that very, very tip of, you know, the behavior. And that's what I work on. So I, you know, as Joyce mentioned, I help health conscious women like you heal the emotional roots of your sugar addiction and chronic body shaming and yo-yo dieting and binge eating and all the rest of that. And the tool that I use is EFT, which is emotional freedom techniques or tapping. Can I just see a show of hand, like who's familiar with tapping here? Anybody? Maybe nobody. Joyce? Okay, a couple of you. Some, a little bit, some, okay. Okay, great. So what we're going to do tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about temptation, relapse, and withdrawal, and then I want to guide you through some tapping on your trigger foods. And I think it was Laurel who said she's got the cookies in the oven. Oh my word. Like I could almost smell the cookies and my cravings, my mouth is watering, my cravings started kicking in. So we're going to talk about all of that. And then, you know, this topic of temptation, relapse, and withdrawal, you know, it's a big topic. It's a big path. And we're not going to get through all of it tonight. You know, so if you are interested in continuing to learn about tapping and you want to, you know, explore working with me a little bit deeper, Joyce and I have an invitation for you, you know, at the end of this call. So, so let's just jump in. So I'm guessing that you all are here. Oh, the same reason why I got into this work to begin with, because my relationship with sugar got me into some pretty serious trouble. I grew up, I literally was a kid in a candy store. My mother had an Italian delicatessen when I was a little girl, and it kind of morphed from like an Italian deli to a candy store. And I was always working in that store with her. So the candy was all behind the counter, and literally it was like, you know, Mounds and Almond Joy and Pixie Sticks. And some of you might remember, if you're of a certain age, like the wax lipstick, the wax lips, the fake cigarettes. Yeah, okay, right. So, I mean, I just had all of that all the time. And there was a lot of trauma that went on in my family, a lot of chaos, a lot of crazy stuff. And I talk about that in some of my DailyOM courses. You know, and I kind of made it through childhood and no big deal. And then in my 30s, I was working in San Francisco in the financial district. And before I would go to my office every morning, I would stop in at the coffee shop and I would have my, what was it, like mocha cappuccino with the whipped cream on top every single day. And, you know, working in an office, it's like there's birthday cake and there's cookies and there's this and that. So I never thought of myself as really a sugar addict. It was always just a little bit. And then somewhere around age 34, I went to the doctor and he looked at me like this, like he put his glasses down and he looked at me and he said, "How much sugar are you eating?" And I was like, "Well, it's only a little bit, you know." But it turned out I was pre-diabetic. And I did not go the path of medication. I instead chose to seek to heal my relationship with sugar through understanding like the health supportive properties of food. So I became a natural food chef and a culinary arts instructor. And I did that for almost 20 years. And I learned a lot, you know, about how foods can heal, and they absolutely can. And at the same time, here I was still binging, you know, even though I knew better. So it wasn't until I really started working with this tool of EFT, which I consider to be a kind of brainwashing in the positive sense. Like we literally changed the neurology. And the exercise that I'm going to lead you through tonight, I'm hoping will have some of that kind of impact for you if you trust me to do that with you. But it wasn't until I started doing EFT that I really began to cross over. And my relationship with sugar now is so radically different. Like I'm not 100% abstinent. I'll just say that up front. But like, you know, I had some chocolate cake with some friends the other day, but it was a really well-made, high-quality chocolate cake, very kind of nutritionally dense, I guess you could say. And, you know, I had like one piece and I felt complete. I was done. I didn't have to, you know, plow headlong into the whole cake. So, yeah, I mean, my relationship with sugar is radically different, and I'm not, you know, pre-diabetic anymore. So I guess I just want to share my story just to say that healing is absolutely possible. Sugar addiction is really tenacious. When I was writing Tap, Taste, Heal, you know, I did some research, and Joyce can probably back me up on this. It's apparently 8 times as addictive as heroin. It's something like that, right? It's like I mean, and I've worked in addiction recovery programs, and I've seen people, you know, withdraw from heroin. This is a big deal. So yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you. And what I want to talk about tonight is temptation, relapse, and withdrawal. And, you know, I want to preface this conversation by saying, whenever we're seeking to change something in our lives, like it could be our relationship with food, our relationship with sugar, it could be anything, our money, our relationship life, our health. we're not just talking about like, oh, I just want to feel better. We're really talking about going on a journey of transformation. And it's a really, we go down into the boiler room, so to speak. Like it's, the transformational process is very rigorous, it's very intense, it's very deep. And we don't really, in our mainstream culture, we don't get a lot of information about what the terrain of the journey actually looks like. Like we look at women's magazines and, they're like skinny women and they kind of have like perfect little bodies and they're eating salad and they look happy. And it's like, well, that's not me, So, we think that it's some kind like the healing path is some kind of like a spiritual pleasure cruise or something. And it's not. I mean, my experience, and Joyce's, I see her nodding, it's not at all. It can be a very, very rugged terrain. Yeah. Amen, right?
Yeah.
So temptation, relapse, and withdrawal are absolutely inevitable parts of the journey. So my intention and what I want to say tonight is to kind of resource you with some information that you can take away about how to navigate, what will inevitably arise. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to say. Okay, so let's just jump in here with temptation. Once you make a decision and you say, okay, that's it, I'm stopping, I'm not eating sugar anymore, right? The universe hears that and almost invariably it will respond by saying, yeah, sure, you really want me? Okay, well, let's just see if you really mean it. So that's where temptation comes in. And temptation is absolutely, it is 100% guaranteed you will be tempted by something once you make that commitment. Now, for us as women, we tend to think, oh, there's something wrong with me because, I'm tempted by, whatever. But there's nothing wrong with you. It's part of the path. And one of the ways that I like to work, I work a lot with mythology, and I work a lot with different spiritual traditions and archetypes of feminine power. And so looking like at different spiritual traditions, the Buddha on the eve of his enlightenment was tempted by what were called the four maras, like demonic forces. And, Jesus was tempted by the devil in various ways. And in the Greek mythology, Odysseus was tempted by the siren. So there's temptation is kind of like this archetypal thing where you're going to be put to the test. Mm-hmm. And, it takes some muscle to work with temptation. So to begin with, just recognizing that when temptation happens, it's not bad. It's just the universe kind of looking at you going like, all right, well, let's just see how, let's just see if you really want to do this or not. So what it takes to work with temptation is understanding the people, places, circumstances, the situations where you can be vulnerable to be tempted. And I want to just tell you a little client story of one of my clients to illustrate this. So I was working with a woman named Ellen, and we were doing tapping work together. And she was really making a lot of progress in her relationship with her food. And we were talking one time, and she said, I'm going to my niece's 2-year birthday party. And I know there's going to be cake there, and I know I'm going to want to eat it. Okay, so like having that kind of awareness, like I'm going to walk into this situation and there's a potential vulnerability here. So I said, okay, how about this? When you walk into that party, just walk in, head right to the bathroom, close the door, and just do 5 minutes of tapping beforehand, just to say, like, I know I'm going to eat, the cake's going to be out there. And if I take a bite, I'm going to want to eat the whole thing. I know I'm going to be tempted. I know I'm going to be tempted. Okay. So she did this. She went out, somebody gave her a piece of cake. She ate a couple of bites. And then she got into a conversation with her sister that was so engaging to her that she completely forgot about the rest of the cake. And she came back to me and she said, I have never forgotten about half a piece of chocolate cake in my entire life. Like that was a miracle, So resourcing yourself and knowing where you're vulnerable to temptation can be very, very helpful. Mm-hmm. So all of that said, we don't live in a perfect world. We don't do this path perfectly. None of us have perfect abstinence. I don't know. I mean, I don't know anybody who does. So then, what happens when we succumb to temptation and we experience a relapse? So, you're working your program, you're working, you're on your food plan, you feel good, you feel good, you feel good. And then, somebody calls your house, your friends call up and say, this is actually true, based on client experiences, like, hey, we're coming over with a couple of pizzas and some ice cream. And, maybe the codependent, people-pleasing part of you kicks in and you say, oh, okay, and really, that the moment that ice cream comes into the house, you're done, right? And there you are, it's dinner time, you're hanging out with your friends. And okay, well, just a little bit of ice cream won't hurt. And then next thing you know, you've eaten 3 bowls. And then you feel terrible, like, how could I have done that? And what was I thinking? And how could I have been so, and you start beating yourself up and all of that. The thing that I have learned in my own journey about relapse and also in working with clients is that one of the things that I find very helpful to do when you relapse is to, well, number one, don't beat yourself up, because again, it's a part of the journey, it's going to happen. But 2 is to go back and to do a kind of inventory of what happened. So if you imagine the whole episode sort of like a video, and like, okay, here you are, you put the ice cream in your mouth, and then you kind of roll the video back almost frame by frame. Like what happened? I've been in 12-step recovery since 1996. And one of the things in AA that we talk about is, the drink happens before the drink gets to your mouth. So the sugar relapse happens before that sugar hits your mouth. Do you see? So you think the relapse is, oh, I ate the ice cream. But, you're all here working with Joyce and you're focusing on the emotional issues and the psychological issues, not. So what were the stressors? In the 12-step world, they call it the subtle insanity before the first drink. Like there's some kind of little twist. There's some little flip of your logic. Or there could be like an emotional upheaval. You might get really mad. Something stressful happens during the day. You have a fight with your partner or your kids. Something, and then you just think, oh, I deserve a treat. I mean, how many of you, I deserve a treat, right? I deserve a treat. Yeah. So, we have these like little twists of logic, and then the behavior comes. So there are, when I have some kind, I had like a, what did I have? I had like an anger relapse the other day. I got really like crazy mad about something. And once the wave subsided, I looked back and I said, okay, well, what was going on for me? So in terms of inventorying a relapse, there are 4 different things that you can take a look at. And in the 12-step world, these are HALT, HALT. And it stands for don't get too hungry, don't get too angry, don't get too lonely, and don't get too tired. So don't get too, yeah, exactly. So don't get too hungry. I'm sure you guys talk a lot about blood sugar balance and blood sugar regulation. Did I eat a good breakfast today? What did I eat? Did I have some like white flour foods? Did I eat meals, or did I eat some kind of a trigger food that triggered the sugar relapse to begin with? Don't get too angry. I mean, you guys, I'm sure you're all very familiar with like emotional eating and emotional triggers. And for myself, what I find is, negative emotions like anger and loneliness and sadness and grief can certainly trigger my binging, but so can excitement, happiness. I want to celebrate, all these things. So anger, don't get too angry. I think of it as like, stay out of the emotional extremes, whether they're too high or too low. And again, blood sugar regulation is a huge tool for doing that. Don't get too lonely. We have this idea in our culture, and especially for us as women, we're so used to carrying everybody else's stuff, literally and, figuratively. And we have this idea as women that we're supposed to like be able to do it on our own. right? Oh, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. No, 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 don't worry. No, it's okay. I can do it. But really, one of the things I like to say in my Women, Food, and Forgiveness Academy is we heal faster when we heal together, because we're not all crazy at the same time. So like if you're really going off the rails, then one of your sisters in the circle comes in and says, hey, whoa, wait a second, I had this experience and here's what's helpful for me. So when we plug into the community of healing that is available to us, the whole really becomes greater than the sum of its parts, and we have just so much more access to so much more wisdom. And then don't get too tired. This has to do not only with sleep hygiene, but with rest. Just resting. And for me, one of the most important ways that I rest these days is I take technology fasts. So on Monday, after I work, yeah, good, I saw that, yeah. On Monday, after I worked all weekend, guess what I did? I left my cell phone at home. And I went to a hot springs and I soaked for 10 hours. Yeah, yeah.
That sounds so good.
I know, I'm very fortunate where I live, there's hot springs everywhere. So sleep, certainly, and I don't know, if sleep is something that you talk about here, but sleep is huge.
We do.
Great, yeah. But even with good sleep, there's still don't get too tired, At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when your adrenals start to feel a little bit drained, that can be a time when you are really vulnerable to sugar. Go lie down for 20 minutes and just let the blood pool into your kidneys, and it just kind of nourishes your adrenals a little bit. And you might just need, you think you need like a muffin, but really what you might need is just to lie down for 20 minutes and put on some nice music, So there's sleep and there's resting, and especially technology, getting away from that.
Yeah.
So when I relapse, I'll look back and I'll think, okay, don't get too hungry. How was my food like in the last 24 hours? Don't get too angry. All right, what am I getting on a jag about? Lonely. Am I isolating too much? Do I need to pick up the phone and call somebody or reach out? And then tired. Have I been, how's my rest and my sleep? Am I getting too strung out? So all of those things, if you start to kind of monitor them and keep them in balance, they can be a really good hedge against relapse. And then there are also the things that bring you back after you've had the binge. It doesn't mean failure. It just means a detour, So withdrawal. Why do we relapse at all? Often it's because we can't withstand what happens when we enter into withdrawal. So again, we make a decision. We say, okay, I'm going to not do sugar anymore. I'm not going to do carbs. I'm not going to do this or that. And what the women's magazines don't tell us is that it's going to start to get really fucking hard. You're going to want that. You're going to be tempted. You're going to be prone to relapse. And if you can sail through the temptation and the, the potential relapse, what you end up in is withdrawal. And withdrawal is the psychological, physiological upheaval that can happen when you take, the substance away. So, physically it can include headaches, and like if you've ever withdrawn from coffee, caffeine headaches for 4 days, that kind of thing. You can get jittery. I mean, depending on what it is that you're withdrawing from. Psychologically, one of the things that can happen is that addictions can migrate. So, you're not doing sugar anymore, but maybe you're spending more time on social media, or you're compulsively shopping, or you're codependently trying to control somebody, or whatever. So, withdrawal is all this crappy stuff that we feel when we put the substance down. And here's the thing that I know about withdrawal. I used to work in a treatment facility for women recovering from love addiction, and that's another one that's just heavy, heavy, heavy. And I mean, really heavy. So withdrawal, I like to call it holy hell. Holy hell, because it's hell. It can be hell. Depending on the severity of your addiction, it can be hellish. But there's something very powerful and very sacred about withdrawal. And if we, so the work that I do with the women that I work with, I do trauma resolution work using this tool that I'm going to do with you in just a minute. And, if you look into, well, what gave birth to the sugar addiction to begin with, I came from a 10 out of 10 trauma background, heavy, including my father went to prison when I was 18 months old, and including my mother, I mean, blah, 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 blah. My mother was mentally ill. My father was incarcerated. And all the abuse and neglect and mistreatment that came along with that, right? So here's a little girl just wanting something sweet, just wanting that comfort, just wanting something that's going to be my friend, something that's going to make me feel good, something that's going to give me that dopamine hit. Take that away. What does that substance do, whether it's sugar or alcohol or some kind of drug, whatever? The addictive substance kind of patches over all those broken pieces of our soul, right? It kind of fills in, and it's really kind of a beautiful thing in a lot of ways. It's in some ways it's a very wise choice, but then we outgrow it. It doesn't serve us anymore. We get diminishing returns. And so the time comes when we have to say goodbye. So when we go through the withdrawal and we're no longer using that substance to kind of patch over all the feelings we don't want to feel and the memories we don't want to remember, the things that we've kind of like disassociated from and shuttled off to the side, we go through that holy hell. And if we can stay with it, just keep going, those pieces of our soul start coming back in. They start tiptoeing back in, like, is it okay to come back, And, it's very difficult. Withdrawal is very difficult at the beginning, but at a certain point, it will start to diminish. And what's left on the other side of that holy hell is what I call the gift of the goddess. It really is this sense of unconditional self-esteem, self-trust, self-love, self-appreciation, really deep respect for my journey. So Joyce and I were talking before, when she invited me to come speak to all of you. And I was saying, gosh, when I'm really like abstinent from sugar and I don't have any at all, like water tastes sweet. I can start to taste the sweetness in water. Brown rice actually starts to taste sweet. Like our palate awakens.
Yes.
And it becomes, the sensibility of the palate becomes so much more refined, and food altogether becomes so much more pleasurable. So, there's a whole world that waits for us on the other side of the temptation, the relapse, and the withdrawal. But, here's the hitch. One, we have to have courage to do it and understand what it is that we're getting into, because otherwise we get into these situations and we think, I've screwed up, it's my fault, I suck, I must not be very good. Okay, that's not true. But the other thing too, so we have to have the courage to decide, but the other thing is we have to have the right support. So having like a mentor, somebody like Joyce, somebody who says, okay, I've been through this and I know what you are heading into, and I'm going to hold you back. You're going to kick and scream and you're going to cuss me out. And you're going to, you're going to hate it. I'm here for you. But then also to have like a community of allies, just like what all of you are here right now, right? And I take it you're going through this journey together. Like you all know each other pretty well. So, you're very well set up for success here. Yeah. And I just want to salute you for that. Okay. So that's what I have to say about temptation, relapse, and withdrawal. Okay. Ready to be tempted?
Yes. That was powerful. Marcella. So powerful. I'd never heard of HALT, actually. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. I mean, I
Yeah, it's
talk
beautiful.
about all those, but to put it in that format, boom, like I just got a light bulb and it made so much more sense. Even to me, who's been doing this and thinking about all of these triggers all these years. I don't know, there's something about that. I just loved it. So thank you for sharing that. That was
Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, I call them the 4 pillars of self-care.
love it. Gonna write
Like,
that down. 4 pillars.
yeah, like if you think about 4 pillars, you have something very stable.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is so true.
well,
Super powerful. And the one that I didn't really put in there, the one that really started, because I talk a lot about, obviously hunger, low blood sugar levels, anger, our emotions, tired's a big thing, but lonely, like
yeah.
that just hit me, and it hit me because actually sometimes when I'm craving, I realize I'm lonely because I'm stuck in front of this computer all day long. My son's a teenager in his old world. My husband's doing his thing. I don't get out and see many girlfriends. And it's like, where's my girl gang? Where's my girl time or just whoever? I'm so exhausted in the day. I don't call anyone to even say like, oh, I had a long day or I had this challenge with business. And so that lonely part, I'm not sure. I've been saying that a lot. I'm lonely, but I haven't identified that to like, why do I want maybe coffee in the afternoon? Um, that really hit home. So thank you. Powerful.
You're so welcome. Well, and especially in these last several years with all of us being so isolated, I'm sure emotional eating has gone through the roof.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've definitely seen that in the group for sure. Yeah.
There's a great video on YouTube. She's at the fridge again. Has anybody seen this? The gospel singer, and she split her screen, her YouTube screen up into 9 different, like a gallery of 9 of her.
Okay.
And she's got like she's wearing different hats and but it's all like the same color scheme. And she's going, she's at the fridge again. She's at the fridge again. And it's this whole gospel song about going to the fridge every 2 minutes to get the ice cream and this and that.
One thing after another. That used to be me. Not me anymore, thank goodness. But gosh, I can relate to that for sure. Yeah. Or I would just stand in front of the pantry staring, and the voice, take me, eat me, don't take me, eat me, close it, don't go, open it up. No. Yeah. Back and forth. Just torturing yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, powerful stuff. Love it. Thank you.
So let's talk about tapping, shall we?
Yes.
So tapping, this tool that I want to show you, it's called EFT, which is Emotional Freedom Techniques. And the whole notion behind emotional freedom is not that we don't feel negative emotions, but that they don't get stuck. So if you think of emotions as emotion, energy in motion, you've probably had the experience of like you get mad about something and then it kind of just blows over, right? But then maybe you have the experience of you get mad about something and it just kind of gets stuck and it gets hooked on something. And then you're mad all day. You think, well, I shouldn't be mad, but this is such a stupid little thing to be mad about, but I can't let it go. Okay, so that's where EFT can come in. What we do when we practice tapping is we fingertip tap on points that are at or near the ends of certain acupuncture meridians. And what the tapping does is it acts like a circuit breaker on the electromagnetic signal of the distress, which emanates out of our limbic system, our midbrain, this little tiny almond-shaped, tissue, whatever it is, in the brain called the amygdala. So when, the amygdala is kind of like the smoke alarm of our brain. It's constantly scanning, is it positive, negative, neutral? Is it friend, enemy, neutral? Like what's going on? So, and it's a midbrain. So it's our mammalian brain. Here's human brain, here's mammalian brain, back way down here is the reptilian brain, back in the brainstem. So it's a primitive part of our brain, if you will. So when something comes in that feels threatening, the amygdala will initiate a series of responses called fight or flight. And you've probably heard that before, the fight or flight response. Our cortisol goes up, We think it's a burning building, but really it's just like a crazy email that we get. So food cravings are an expression of the fight or flight response. So if you get into this, like, oh, I really want it. Oh, I know I shouldn't have it. Oh, I really want it. Oh, I know I shouldn't have it. That's coming from the limbic system of your brain. That's not just you and your willpower. That's why willpower is not, forget it. Willpower is no match for, what's going on back in that very old part of our brain. So what the tapping does is we tap and it's like, it down regulates the amygdala and it just says, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's just an email. It's just an email. And we can use tapping for anything. We can use it for the most minor annoyance to the most profound traumas. So a lot of what I went through in my early life, I look at it now and it's just like this pen on my desk, it doesn't grab me by the throat to talk about it. My stomach doesn't go into knots, it's just simply what happened. But it's not like pinging around in my nervous system like a pinball anymore. So let's do some tapping on food cravings. This is like one of my funnest things to do. I want to invite you all to just get your trigger food. And, if you feel okay showing it to the camera, if you don't want to, sometimes people don't want to show their trigger foods to the camera, and that's okay. So Joyce has got her Starbucks. Ooh, what is that? Crab chip? Is it potato chips? Wow. Okay.
Do you want, Marcella, do you want people unmuted or muted at all?
You can unmute them at this point. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Melissa, I see. What do you got, Melissa? What is that?
Garlic bread.
Oh, I love garlic bread. See, I'm starting to get. And Bridget, how about you? Okay, I think it looks like a chocolate muffin. Oh, I think we might need to unmute you.
Yeah, unmute everybody. I'm not sure if you have to unmute yourself or if Dawn's doing it. Dawn's doing it. Okay.
They have to unmute themselves.
Okay, unmute yourselves.
Beautiful.
And muffin, anything from the bakery.
Yeah, I know you love your zucchini bread, your muffins, Bridget.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm never going to let you live down the zucchini bread.
Nancy's holding, it looks like chocolate chip cookies, and then Tammy's got, it looks like a cookie or a muffin or something.
It's a chocolate chip cookie.
Oh yeah, okay, beautiful.
That just came out of the oven,
It just
right?
came out of the oven, so the whole house smells like chocolate chip cookies. Yes.
Oh, Ruffles. Ruffles, are they the sour cream and onion, or are they the plain? Because those things are serious.
Oh, unmute yourself, Donna. We can't hear you. Are you unmuted?
It looks like she is unmuted.
Oh.
Muted, but her mic isn't working.
Oh.
Yeah, so mine are, I'll show you these. Since it's Easter time, I have these like speckled chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Boy, everybody's nodding their head. They know what those are.
So I want to invite you to put the food in front of you. And if you have a packaged food, to just look at the packaging to begin with. And yeah, I think at this point, everybody can mute themselves. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So just see if you notice anything about the packaging. So there could be some like subliminal advertising there. So this chocolate that I have, the brand name of it is Divine. Which, it used to be sex that sold, and now it's spirituality. So divine chocolate, yeah. So just see if there's anything. Some of you had some processed foods. The colors red and yellow. The fast food industry did, and they realized that red and yellow triggers hunger.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So like Carl's Jr., McDonald's, Burger King, they're all red and yellow.
Wow.
right? Wendy's, red and yellow.
Mine says that first sip feeling, you know, so they're already trying to set you up like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah, exactly.
They're telling you how to feel.
They're telling you how to feel.
Yeah.
Now I want to invite you to just smell your food. So like, I'm going to take a couple of eggs out of here and smell them, put them in your hands. Look at them. Let your mouth salivate. Oh, okay. Beautiful. I want to invite you to chat me a number on a scale of 1 to 10. How strong is your craving? And you can chat it to everybody. Just a number from 1 to 10. How strong is your craving right now?
Mine's probably like a 6 or 7.
Okay. Okay, so 6, a lot of 6s and 7s, 8, 8, okay. 7, okay, so nobody's less than a 5. Mine is actually about a 4. I do this exercise so much that my cravings have really kind of almost disappeared. All right, so just hold on to that number. And let's just do some tapping. So say as I say and do as I do. But if my word, everybody's muted. So if my words don't resonate with you, then just feel free to use your own, okay? All right, so let's just start. This is the way I do it. I'm sure, Joy, you know, tapping is very adaptable. It's very flexible. Joyce probably has a different way, but this is the way I'm doing it these days.
I love it. I'm
Yeah.
going to follow you. You're the expert.
Let's just bump the sides of our hands together, and here we go. And just really focus on your food. So even though I'm really craving this food, go ahead and say it.
Even though I'm really craving this food,
I deeply love and completely accept myself.
I deeply love and completely accept myself.
Even though I'm really craving this food in front of me. Okay. I really want to eat it. And I love and accept myself exactly where I'm at. Nice. Even though I'm really craving this food. And I love eating it. I wish Marcella would tell me to just eat it already. Yeah. I love this food. And I love myself even more. Yeah. So even though I'm having this craving, I choose to deeply and completely love, accept myself right where I'm at. Beautiful. Let's tap on the top of the head. I'm actually just going to do one hand at a time. Okay, so just, you know, maybe what you can do is hold your food with the other hand. So, ooh, this food looks so good. Smell it. Oh, I love this food. I love eating this food. It's my special treat. Yep, just for me. My special little treat food. Good. And the first couple bites are just so fantastic. All right, or if it's a drink, the first couple sips, whatever. Yeah, it's just heaven. Good. And I love to just check it out, gobble it down, drink it down, whatever it is. Yeah. And it feels so good. It feels really good for a while. And then it really doesn't feel very good. Yeah, good. And then it feels kind of gross. Yeah, and I feel kind of disgusting. Okay, and I think to myself, why did I do that again? Yeah, what's wrong with me? Okay. I tell myself I'm never going to heal. Okay. And it's all from this little food that I've got in front of me. Okay. Yeah. So even though I'm craving this food, okay. The truth is, this food really isn't my friend. What am I really looking for? Yeah, maybe it's comfort or a little bit of pleasure, some fun, you know, a little reprieve from all the troubles of life. Okay. Yeah, whatever it is that I'm looking for. Okay. It's totally okay for me to look for those things and to have them. Yeah, but this food isn't really going to do it for me. Yeah, it's not the answer. Yeah. Oh, this craving for this food and everything this craving means to me. Okay. It's totally okay for me to feel it. And it's totally okay for me to let it go. Okay, perfect. Let's shake it out a little bit. Woo! All right. So take a look at your food again. Smell it, look at it. Now just see what you notice. And then how strong, again, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being like totally strong, how strong is your craving right now? And just chat me the number. There are a lot of like 6, 7s, and 8s. 3, yeah, okay, 5, 1, 4 to 5, 5. Okay. Some of you had, let's see, it looks like Tammy, you went from a 2 to a 1, and Melissa, let's see, you were at an 8 to a 5, okay. And Nancy, 7, okay, so some drop. 3, okay, for Kelly. Okay, so we don't have time to go to this level, but you know, in doing this tapping on, it smells different. Yes, okay. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in 1 second. So when you're tapping on your own, and you start out and you're really high, you're like at an 8, you do some tapping, it drops. A good question to ask yourself there is, what makes it not a 0? And this is where you can get into like a deeper level of the tapping. So mine was like a 4, and I mean, it's a 0 now. But like, let's say I went from a 4 to a 2. Okay, so I'm at a 2. What makes it not a 0? Well, maybe I feel really sad at the thought of letting this food go, because it was the food that my mother and I used to eat on Friday nights when Dad took the kids bowling. Do you see? There can be an associative memory connected to it. And I don't want to lose my mother. You know, chocolate chip cookies. Well, my sister and I used to be in the kitchen, and when Mom was gone, we would bake cookies and eat them all, you know. So this is where like you can get into a deeper level of exploring your emotional relationship with your food and clearing it. Okay, so definitely a memory of even just the smell. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So this is just a little snapshot of how tapping can work. So yes, I'm curious to hear what people have to say about like the smell, because like these smelled really good, and now they smell kind of like wax.
Yeah, mine's starting to smell like the cat piss, the cat litter. It smelled good before, and now I'm like, kind of don't want it anymore.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I hate to bust your Starbucks bubble, but you know. Yeah. Okay, so wait, you're saying, okay, a lot of mom stuff here. Definitely my mom. This is Tammy. The other day, she baked when she was lonely to get away from her feelings, and I baked to get close. Yeah, see, that's beautiful. My mom's house always smells like baking. Mine still smells good. And I think it is related to a sadness of not being able to eat it. Okay, so there, Laurel, that's perfect. Like, so the next level of tapping for you is, even though I feel really sad around not being able to eat this, and maybe I feel sad to let it go, and maybe I'm not ready to let it go, and I love myself exactly where I'm at. Yeah, the smell of my grandma's house. Wow, interesting. We have Mother's Day coming up. There's a lot of mom and grandmom here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
So
connections are with my mom too. Yeah.
But like the coffee?
Not the coffee, when it was the sugar, the sugar stuff was for sure.
Yeah.
It tapped into comfort. I mean, sugar equaled a warm blanket, to me, and just my mom hugging me and love and her nurturing me and caring for me. I mean, I think I made up stuff at some point of how it's connected to my mom. But when I wanted my mom, I wanted sugar,
Oh, yeah. I get, well, mother's milk is sweet.
Interesting.
And sweet it's in Ayurveda, in the Women Fitness Academy, we use a lot of Ayurveda to, because Ayurveda is a healing system that uses food to heal. And sweet is the very first of the 6 flavors. And the mother's milk is sweet.
Right.
So it's that coming back into the womb, mom's warm blanket. Exactly.
Yes.
It's exactly how heroin addicts will describe first hit of heroin. It's like a warm hug.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
And isn't it wonderful to get a warm hug? It's wonderful to want a warm hug. I mean, that's a perfectly legitimate human need and a human desire, and it absolutely deserves to be fulfilled.
Yes.
We turn to addictions because they give us good things that we want, and that it makes sense for us to have, but they're not, beyond the sort of dopamine high.
Right. Then it's a false illusion. Right.
Yeah,
it's not
there's
really
nothing
there. Yeah. Which is why we're still always left feeling empty and lonely and hungry. Our soul is still hungry.
Hungry and angry and lonely and tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The above.
Yeah.
Oh, that was powerful. Very
Yeah.
powerful. Did you ladies love that? Let's give some snaps.
Yeah.
We do snaps in here.
Yeah.
Like poetry reading. We want to kudos somebody. So we're snapping to you, Marcella. Oh, that was awesome. So good. What I also loved, because I'm a very type A personality, but like I tell the ladies, you didn't see me before when I was on sugar. It was like on steroids. And it's calmed down so much, my laid back self. But, my struggle always is like, well, if I'm not doing it right, I'm not doing it. It's why I've struggled with meditation, and I've tried every kind of meditation there is, thinking, well, I'm not sitting just exactly the right way, or I'm not doing am I saying the mantra just the right way? Like whatever, it's always the right way. And I found that with tapping too, sometimes when I did tapping, but I've never found anyone where I did all my training just online. I mean, I let all the women know I'm not the one to learn from. You are. That's why we're having you tonight. But that's kind of what I love, that there wasn't this like, oh my gosh, you have to do it just the right way, just under here at this meaty, fleshy part, or get it right. I mean, my glasses were in the way at first. I took my glasses off. I'm like, oh, she's leaving her glasses on. She's going like this. Like, doesn't have to be perfect, and you're still getting the benefits. And I got the benefits. So I love that about this too, that, it gives you the freedom to not focus on the rigidity of it being so precise, the technique, and it still works, even if you're a little sloppy, or you guys were here and I Love Lucy. I was down here, I was going somewhere else and it still worked, which was great.
I have improvised a lot with tapping, and there's a tap that I do that I find to be very soothing. And it's just tapping like with both hands here on the breastbone, or what is it, the sternum. Yeah. And then just like butterflying it out, just let it go. Like literally getting something off your chest.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
really think the magic of tapping ultimately lies in lymphatic movement. And I think, you know, lymphatic movement can take a lot of different forms. It's
Yes.
something I like to teach a lot, you know, just patting yourself down.
Agreed.
Ooh,
Yeah.
here, you know, just, yeah. Yeah, so thank you all so much. And there's so much more I want to say. And
I know. You got to save it. You got to save it. Oh, it was amazing, amazing. And before we wrap up, let's talk about how we can all get more of Marcella. I want to invite all of you, you know, who found this evening's workshop beneficial and can see like, wow, where the power of tapping can really go. And for that, we've got a very special advantage and a very special offer from Marcella, who's created just for us this really neat opportunity. So if you're ready to dive deeper and join us, she's got a special event going on actually starting this weekend, okay, that I highly recommend. It is an online book study group called Liberate Your Diet Trauma with EFT tapping. I mean, that sounds phenomenal. And it's just $98. This is a steal, ladies. And this is going to start this Saturday, the 23rd. So you're already got the ball rolling. You can keep it going with this. Now, this isn't just 2 weeks to a new beach body. Okay. I mean, you're going to work with Marcella, just like you did tonight, to liberate yourself from the boom and the bust diet cycle. And lay the foundation down for a lifetime, okay, of genuine fad-proof physical and emotional self-care. Seriously, ladies, this is the perfect course to really complement, all right, the work that you're already doing in the masterclass, what we're already working on. So, you know, you want the tools. I share with you tools. You say you need tools. We need tools to get through this. You know, along with the journaling and the work that you're already doing, this is another tool. This actually is the tool, as I've shared with you, the success I've had from doing it, and not even perfectly. And yet it's still worked for me on so many occasions. I'm not sure if I shared with you, Marcella, but like I've healed my frozen shoulder from tapping. I've helped my blood pressure come down. I shared with them on the last call that my cardiologist said, it's not anything with health anymore. Your heart is fine. Your issues are stress and anxiety. You got to deal with your dad's death. You got to deal with your work stress. Like you need to figure something out. And I turned to tapping with a worker, a body worker and a mind worker. And it really works. It really, really does. And phenomenal for sugar cravings. Now, in this 2-week course, you're going to use Marcella's book, okay, Tap, Taste, and Heal, and do lots of EFT tapping, just like we did tonight, to help you. And these are the things that I want to point out that's going to help you with. You're going to finally learn to forgive yourself, okay, for those past failures. And you're going to get really clear and get into the marrow of your bones that your struggles with food were never your fault. I'm trying to drill this into you, and that's what she's going to drill into you even more with this. And now she's going to work on all those circuit breakers we talked about. And you're also going to learn to release the relentless obsession that you have with the food, okay? And channel that new energy now toward building the self-care skills, okay, to heal your body and soul for the long term. And you're going to work with her to find love and beauty. This is really key, and well-being in the body that you currently inhabit, ladies. We talk about this all the time. This isn't about loving yourself someday when you're a certain way or you're feeling a certain way or your blood sugars come down. It's about loving yourself in this very moment. It's the only way to heal. And to give yourself permission to succeed and to shine on your terms that are yours. So this is really powerful. And if you don't have her book, no problem. Okay. What she's going to do for all of you ladies tonight, if you decide to join for $98, she's going to give you a free copy of the book, her book, Tap, Taste, and Heal. That's that autographed. Hello. That's fantastic. I love that. Very generous offer. So it's really powerful. So I want you to grab your spot in her workbook study group. It's starting again this Saturday, April 23rd. You can use the link. Actually, Dawn, if you can put the link in the chat box,
Oh, yeah.
and also put the info in the workshop notes with the replay. We're going to let all of you know how to go ahead and sign up for that if you want to take advantage of that. It's going to be really amazing. And I actually believe, Marcella, one of our ladies, she's not on tonight. She was hoping to be. She's in Canada. Sil Roker. She reached out to me when she saw you were coming. It's got to been something big why she's not here, because she found you. It started with my tapping. She first heard about tapping through me, and then went on to find others and ended up finding you, and is doing a course either with you or currently with you or already has done it. But
Yeah.
she's so excited. Do you know who I'm talking about? Sil from Canada.
Oh, she might be on my list. I don't know. She's probably done one of the DailyOM courses.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not sure.
No.
But either way,
don't know.
I
Sorry.
wish she was here tonight, because I'd love, she wrote me an email saying how it really helped her. And now she wants to explore being an EFT practitioner also, and how it really just coincided with the work that she's doing, with us, all of us ladies in the masterclass, and how it's right. It's a tool. So it doesn't make it to where it's so esoteric and you're just talking about all this stuff and journaling, but you actually have something physical now to help get you through this work, which is crucial. So I'm Hari, it's a steal. I mean, this is an amazing opportunity to work with the author herself, an expert in this field, way better than me. And I want to thank you again. I know we're running out of time here, and we can, if you have time to say, if anyone has any questions, we can answer up any questions or comments for this evening. But thank you seriously for spending this evening with us and sharing your gifts and your wisdom and imparting all of this on us.
What a pleasure. Wow. I got to say, it's great to have somebody sit here and sell your work for you. Oh my gosh.
And I don't get anything off this, ladies.
I know,
Okay.
there's no commission going on. I was like,
there's not.
do
This
this
is
more
just
often,
me being passionate about, that it wasn't one person who got me where I am today. It was a bunch of teachers. And I firmly believe when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I think for a lot of women tonight, perhaps you're the teacher. And as I said, the work goes hand in hand with what we're doing. So it's only going to reinforce the work that we do and bring it more to light and get you to that next level. I know there's still a lot of you struggling. You really related to the topics tonight about that. And so, yeah, it's, again, this isn't me trying to pitch or sell anything, because there's nothing off that I'm getting. This is about promote, and she's not making much on $98. I can tell you that when she's giving you a book. So this is about women helping women and supporting women is really what it's about in this journey. So, I'm so thankful. So let's open it up real quick. Does anyone have any questions, comments, anything they want to say about this evening?
Can I just say something before we get into the Q&A? Because I know there's some people who want to leave here, I want to just invite you all to just take a moment before we adjourn and disperse, and to just take a moment and really reflect on something that you got benefit from tonight. Like maybe it was the tapping, or maybe there was something in the talk. It's just being, the hours on Saturday are 9:30 to 11 a.m. Mountain Time, Mountain Daylight in Colorado.
There's a difference.
Yeah. So if you just think about something that benefited you, okay, and just let that benefit sort of grow in your body. So much of our healing is, about getting used to feeling good. So just let that goodness just kind of like let it move through your system. And then just send it out to the people in your life who you love. Your spouses, your partners, your children, your pets, your parents, your coworkers. We're in such a time of struggle right now, and we all need all the healing we can get. And then just send it out to like everybody in your town. Send it out to everybody in your state and in your country. Send it out to the whole planet. Send it out to the universe. Just send it out as far as it can go. Just give it away. We keep it when we give it away. You know, this work is for us, for sure. And yet it's so much more than just us, you know? Yeah. So just allow that to kind of, whee, give it, and then just let it go. It's out there. All right. So that's it. If anybody else needs, I know a couple people just jumped off. If anybody else needs to go, I'm happy to just stay for a few minutes and answer any questions anybody has. Yeah.
Anybody, now is your chance. Opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh, Bridget, are you gonna
Oh,
speak?
you're welcome.
Oh, someone's typing. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
you know, what I also love, oh, Bridget, go
Oh.
ahead.
Okay. Well, my question was about the class. So, and maybe is there more detail? Maybe if I look it up, is it like once a week or every day?
It's going to be a very short class. It's going to be 2 Saturday mornings from
Okay.
9:30 to 11, April 23rd and April 30th. And I'm going to give you some tapping homework to do in the week in between.
Okay.
And we're going to focus on diet trauma, because here's the thing, you know, you try to move forward, like the process of transformation is a process of miracles, creating miracles, you know, inviting miracles, things that we've never experienced before, God doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. But when we're holding on to the past, it's kind of like driving with the emergency brake on, like we don't have the power to move forward.
Mm.
So my intention with this 2 Saturday morning program is to kind of like release that emergency brake so that you can go forward, you know, and that involves, we think our failures at dieting are our fault, and they absolutely are not. They're not, you know. So and it's one thing to know that up here, it's another thing to really get it.
Mhm.
So that you can like cut it loose, leave it behind, and say, okay, permission granted, I can move forward now.
Yeah,
That's my goal for this workshop.
powerful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing it. So I hope I see some of you there.
Yeah.
You're very-
And you know, just notice too, another reason why having so many different teachers, coaches, whoever you want to call in your life, mentors, is you notice just even, I mean, I love your energy. You're softer, you're calmer. We all know me. I'm like the Energizer
Well, I can
Bunny.
get pretty rowdy too, you know.
I get loud. I'm Miss Motivator. And it's nice to have that yin and yang and that balance, and to get a little bit of everything in your mix of tools and the messages that come into you that you can receive. And that, you know, we might be even almost teaching the same material, the same message and purpose, but it's the voice that's different, that resonates, that's going to resonate. And even though maybe you're attracted more to one or the other, it's still so important. Like when I introduced you all to Michael, you know, very different, you know, you thought I was like that, like he's really up in your face, but that was crucial for all of you ladies also to get that, to have, and to challenge ourselves to take in those different voices, because you're meeting every day somebody new and different in your life. You know, the world is full of different people, and isn't that wonderful? Thank goodness we're not all the same. So it's not being like, I can't resonate with her, she's too slow or she's too energized. It's like, see what that's about and take that in and try something new on, to feel that, you know, how that feels, because it's going to open up and let you explore a new side of you and make you much more versatile and bendable to handle sugar and all those ups and downs in your life, for sure. So thank you for being you.
Oh, well, thank you everybody for being you.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
we're quite the mosaic.
We
Yeah,
are.
we heal faster when we heal together.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Well,
All right.
lots of love,
Last chance,
blessings,
anyone? Yeah, anything else? All right, well, I guess that is a wrap. Again, thank you, Marcella, for everything, for helping others find the path to unconditional love. And we wish you all the best. And I hope these ladies are going to see you this Saturday.
Thank
All
you so
right,
much.
take care, everyone. Have a great night. I'll see you in the group. Bye.
Bye-bye.